to C3Arts Radio. This is your loyal host, right? I keep saying loyal. I'm thinking about changing that, you know. This is your loyal host, Philip Harvey. He'll work for today. Here with you, as always, every Tuesday, 6 p.m. Of course, is C3Arts Radio. And we are the broadcast arm at City College Center for the Arts, coming live and direct to you from City College, New York. Of course, the college on the hill. And I'm here with my right-hand man, Mr. Winston Brewington. How you doing today, Winston?
I am doing fantastic today, man. How are you?
Good, man. Good. Staying warm, you know, staying dry,
warm, man.
all that
Staying
good
warm.
stuff. All that good stuff.
Yeah, absolutely, man.
Yeah. So, and Winston and I, of course, every Tuesday, 5 to 6 p.m. right here, WHCR 90.3 FM, the voice of Harlem. We come to you every Tuesday to make sure that you are in the know of what's happening in the wide world of arts and culture, right? We're your place for arts advocacy. And as I always say, we are also the broadcast arm of the City College Center for the Arts. And as the broadcast arm of the City College Center for Arts, it is our duty to make sure that you know exactly what is happening here on the campus of City College and also in the stages and cultural corridors of Aaron Davis Hall and our community, so to speak, right? So we're going to jump right into that. We got a great show lined up for you as always, and we're going to start off by talking about what is happening at Aaron Davis Hall and here on City College. Now, first off, I hope that you enjoyed the Clifford Brown with Strings performance by Manhattan School of Music. It was fantastic. From what I understand, they blew the house down as usual. Manhattan School of Music. I mean, it's fantastic the work that they're doing.
Absolutely. I mean, it's a great organization. I know a lot of people who went there and had such a great time, learned such a great deal, and it's great that they're continuing to do the same thing that they're doing.
Well, the idea of incorporating, of course, all of these fantastic musicians to come in and play in a leadership position also adds to the undercurrent of education these kids are receiving. I just think it's wonderful. Of course, if you had a chance to see that, you saw instead of course, the great Clifford Brown, and we talked a little bit about it last week and the week before as well, about how the tragic death of Clifford Brown. So it was great to have as a stand-in John Faddis, and also to include the music of the Clifford Brown and Max Roach quintet. So, but this is just an example of all the things that are going on at Aaron Davis Hall. So let's get into what's coming up. So now, on February 8th, okay? Coming up on February 8th, I believe that's a Thursday, is that correct? Yeah, I think it's a Thursday. We have...
Yes, it is.
One of the new, and when I say new, I don't mean new as in terms of work. They have been doing work. I mean new as in really about to make a huge impact on the dance scene here in New York. The troupe is, of course, called MorDance. And they're going to be presenting a program called Fat Waller's Rhythm, which is going to take place February 8th, Thursday, February 8th at Aaron Davis Hall at 7 p.m. Now, the thing that's really special about this is it's almost like it's coming right at the right time in terms of first honoring the great Clifford Brown and Max Roach, and now we're going to honor the rhythm, or the music, rather, of Fats Waller through dance. Can't get much better than that. Now, celebrated choreographer Morgan McEwen, who instigated this celebration of the legendary Harlem Stride pianist, is going to be joining us next week. So please make sure you turn in as we get ready for the upcoming performance of MorDance Presents Fat Waller's Rhythm, 7 p.m. at Aaron Davis Hall. Please go to City College Center for the Arts. I know it's long, but it's all one word. It's quite easy. .org. City College Center for the Arts.org to get your tickets. Check out how things are going. Now, this is also a very important event because it's part of our ongoing partnership with the City University of New York Dance Initiative, which is what the City of New York put together to make sure that we, as advocates of the arts and as people who love dance, right? To make sure that we're engaged with the dance community here in New York and beyond. CUNY has put a lot into it, and we're very proud to be partners with the CUNY Dance Initiative here at City College Center for the Arts. So this is part of our ongoing series. Again, it's MorDance presents Fat Waller's Rhythm, okay? Also, still going on. It's coming to an end. I keep saying this, but the time is ticking, okay? We still have Void of Death, the solo exhibition of paintings by Julio Mejia. It will be up until February 6th, of course, curated by Susan Luss. And we had to extend it for all our good folks out there. And so it's going to be up to the 26th, ladies and gentlemen. Got to make sure you get by and see it. Of course, the Aaron Davis Hall Gallery is open from Monday through Friday, 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. So you do have a stretch of time that you can come in and check it out. So make sure you get by there to see it. All right? And tell your friends. Again, you go to citycollegecenterforthearts.org for more information. And please know that you can do it from 8 in the morning to 8 at night. Yeah, you have all kinds of time. All right? So stop through and check it out. You'll be more than happy that you did. And that's the report, ladies and gentlemen. That's what's going on at City College Center for the Arts. We got a lot more that's coming up, and I think next week we're going to get more into about the rest of the spring season here at City College Center for the Arts in Aaron Davis Hall. So we're going to listen to a little music, and we'll be back. C3Arts Radio.
Says not again. The sun is up, but I feel down again. On just one hand, I can count all my friends. The understudy for the star, the show must go on. I'm a beast on a leash, I'm told from the lawn. Another notch in my belt, the blues getting scarce. Another notch in my belt, she shakes up the stairs. Drink liquid confidence, tequila's our defense. Get rid of what's tense and makes life make sense. As I come off the fence and break through defense. Anxiety is on the ropes and it's getting intense. Population getting tired now. And everybody wants to inspire now. Racist emails fire out. We did it in the dark, it's coming out. The world is crazy and I cannot sleep, but melatonin good enough to eat, but I read the paper so that I can see what I'd rather stay indoors and make a beat, but my mother said a lot of wise words to me. Her Bible was like her Thule, peasy-headed and unruly. I made her think she got to me, following the trail of reefer and again talking through speakers, fat as laces through my sneakers. The rappers were ghetto preachers, thought I had it, so I tried it for so long I would just hide it. Then I made the crowd say, oh, and so the more get excited. I was hooked, I couldn't shake it. The more I got, I would take it. Couldn't sleep it, couldn't eat it. This life I would not forsake it. Said I really dream in color now. And every brother ain't a brother now. Pop melatonin like these Swedish fish. To give her everything, my dying wish.
making it very hard to unwind. Guess I should take one, just one. So many thoughts in my mind, making it very hard to unwind. Guess I should take one, just one.
This one's for the girls that all know me.
Just one.
This one's taking when I'm missing.
Just one day.
This one's taking when I'm strong.
Just one.
This one.
It's been insane because I never in a million years thought that song would take me here. You know, I love to make fun music, all types of hip hop, and even like over trap beats. And I always thought it was something more like that, like a more fun or clubby or happy or kind of vibe that would get me on that stage. And so I can't believe that I made a song that I never thought would ever do any of that, just from a place in my heart, strictly from my fans and anybody it could reach. And the fact that it actually reached them it's crazy. I mean, I won. That's how I feel. This is insane. Yes, ma'am. Well, I was actually asked by the committee to give, or by the people to the Recording Academy to give a speech, and I didn't want to just kind of spew out anything. I wanted it to come from the heart. I'm not Tupac. I'm not like this prophetic dude or anything like that. I just want to make music and have fun. That's it. I just want to have a fun time. However, I have a power that a lot of people in this world don't. And I've been given a stage that so the 1% get. And I thought if I was going to have this power that I'd use it for positivity, peace, love, and positivity, to spread a positive message. And everybody is beautiful and the world isn't equal, and we need to fight towards that. So I just thought I'd take a moment to do that.
C3Arts Radio, and we're back. We're back, ladies and gentlemen. Always, always back. Right here, WHCR 90.3 FM, Voice of Harlem. And, of course, you know that we're here every Tuesday, 5 to 6 p.m. And we're giving you a little talk here. So, of course, we're in the post-Grammy phase. And it was quite an eventful event there. So, first of all, we played the song Melatonin by a Tribe Called Quest, whose absence from the Grammys was very notable, along with a few other things. And then we also had a few statements there from Logic. Of course, Logic has really made quite a name for himself, and he gave maybe one of the better speeches from the stage of the Grammys this past week, the New York Grammys, I must say, and it was quite eventful, to say the least. What do you think about that, Winston? What was your impression?
Well, I thought there were some good performances. Some of them were a little bit slower than I would have liked, and but that's okay. I really thought that the Kendrick Lamar performance to start off the show was awesome. I thought it was really great. It had such a dope political message. And another highlight of mine was seeing Dave Chappelle there. It was interesting that they had I don't think they've ever had the comedy Grammy ever televised on the show before. Yeah.
One of the things I was most impressed with, actually, was the incorporation of a comedy into the storyline. So normally, and then have the comedians actually introduce these portions. I thought that was very good, because you get a lot of this kind of canned kind of conversation from musicians or celebrities or what have you. So the comedians know what to do with that dead air, so to speak. So that worked out fabulously, I must say. Yeah. So we got a lot of things going on here. Let's we're in the post Grammy world, and you probably recall last Tuesday we talked with one of our own songwriters who was up for the Gospel Award. Now, unfortunately, he did not win, but he still represented, and that was a great thing about this time. So New York was a great place for the Grammys. It was a usual place for the Grammys, and we hope it comes back soon. So we're gonna get you all lined up with what we thought about the Grammys in a moment. So give us one moment, and we'll be right back. C3Arts Radio. C3Arts Radio, and we are back. We are back, ladies and gentlemen. Now, that song you just heard, that beautiful song, haunting song even that you just heard. Well, we're going to get back to our talk about the Grammys in a little bit because we have a special guest here in the studio with us, and we want to get to the bottom of that song, what it means, where it comes from, and we got some pretty good ideas. In fact, the artist that's going to be joining us, her name is Hadassah, and Hadassah is working off her fourth EP, and she really brings a very unique style, and it is born from kind of an experience that belies her age. And we are very, very proud to have her join us here at C3 Arts Radio. Ladies and gentlemen, this is Hadassah. How are you doing today, Hadassah?
Hi, I'm doing good. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. Thank you for joining us. Now, Hadassah, I was about to say a little more because I know something about your background here, but I thought it was much better that we get it from you yourself. Now, I think it's quite interesting, not only because of the uniqueness of your personal sound, but also you have quite a story that, to me, separates you from a lot of new and young artists. Can you give us a little taste about your background? Tell us about how you developed in this. I know when you were younger, there's been kind of a sense of evolution, is what I've seen in your background. And it starts with when you were a child, you listened mostly to Christian music. So you started to evolve from there. Give us a little background.
Actually, my mom didn't allow secular music in the house until I was about probably in middle school. So most of my childhood was just listening to Christian music.
I see.
And when I finally was able to listen to music other than Christian music, I found neo soul. So it was like a lot of Indie Irene, Erykah Badu, and then the only secular music that my mom allowed when I was young was like Luther Vandross and Shaka Khan, her favorites. So,
her favorites.
Yeah, I kind of didn't know what was going on in the 90s and early 2000s. So.
Okay. So it started to kind of mix up. I heard you say someplace that at first you were a little maybe intimidated by the music, maybe classical music.
Definitely.
You had some thoughts about.
A little scary. I had my aunt is actually classically trained and kind of like a prodigy with music. So. In my household, if you were doing music, that meant you were studying it classically, and that was kind of scary to me. So, that's what I love jazz because you can kind of improvise, and it has a lot of classical elements, but you're able to be free in it as well. So I feel like that's why I'm pulled to it a little bit.
I see. So jazz is kind of you saw that as kind of the intermediary, kind of a tertiary kind of middle. Oh, very interesting. So. When did you actually get over this kind of shyness about the music and really jump in then?
My junior year of college, actually.
Okay.
That was because it's your junior year of college and you have to figure out what you're going to do with your life. So I was realizing I was studying political science. I finished that degree, but I realized that wasn't what I wanted to be. I didn't want to be a lawyer, and I really loved music. So I was like, if I want to be happy, this is what I'm gonna have to do. So that's when I started. I think that's serious.
I think that's quite interesting because you really did do. I think that's a lot of work. You're putting together EPs while you're in college.
Yeah, two of them were in college.
Your first two were done in college.
Yeah.
Is that correct? Yeah. So you're a hardworking woman, I think.
Yeah, I guess.
Now, I think as you get to that point, though, you start to. This is where. So after your first two songs, do you think that there's a transition between your first two and then
Most
your
definitely.
your third and fourth EPs?
When I listened to the first two, I'm grateful for the people who are around me who were encouraging me to keep going, because when I listen to them, I don't love them. Don't really love how I sounded vocally. I see the growth, but in terms of what was going on in my life, after the second EP, my mom actually passed away, and I kind of grew into an adult and had a lot more responsibilities and kind of was really in the world. So I think that also, was an impact on my music as well. But my favorite are the last two. These last two EPs.
These last
Yeah.
two. You think they're more of a reflection of where you are at this point?
Yeah.
Oh, wow, I see.
Yeah.
Now, I think that there is you can kind of tell that there is a great amount of growth, but how would you kind of quantify that? In what ways do you think your life experience has translated into your music?
That's a really good question. What do you mean quantify it?
Well, just in terms of words, like would you say that it gave you a different kind of feeling about the music, or were you? I know you're a writer as well, so did it change your songwriting?
Right. Okay. Yeah. So I definitely was talking about. I think the things I was talking about in the first two were a little bit more immature. The last two were, especially the third one, Okamia Drive, was about happiness. It was about finding myself as an adult. It was also about, it was very self-reflective. It was about me saying that I'd be okay, or even like letting my mom, she had passed away, but letting her know I'd be okay. Without her, my sisters would be okay. Prior to that, it was just kind of like love songs and la-di-da. I mean, Flexing My Demons has a lot of love songs, but it's more about how to be healthy in love and what isn't healthy in love. It's looking at love, whereas before it was just love songs. So yeah, I've definitely grown and dissect things more, I guess.
I was really struck by the title, Flexing My Demons. How did you come up with that name?
So the project was, I think because I always want to grow and I always want to be a better person. So the point of this project was kind of to look at the flaws and look at the things that I would want to do better in my life and not be ashamed of them, put them on the table, look at them. Maybe they can help other people. So it was flexing my demons, not being proud of them, but like showing them, being okay with what they were.
Being open and honest, Yeah, okay. All right, that sounds fantastic. I first saw the title and I was like, wow, Flexing My Demons. That's
the videos are going to be cool.
The videos going to be cool.
Yeah.
Let's talk about a couple of your past videos. I noticed that they have a very interesting eye put to them. Are you directing, or who are you working with on the video? You're directing them yourselves.
Two of my friends, yeah.
I see.
Shout out Noni and Angie. I love you guys.
Noni and Angie as well. Yeah. And they appear to be a pretty good reflection of the music as well. How kind of do you see this as the song when you are making your visuals to your music? Or do you see them as a direct extension? It all seems to be storytelling, from the music to the videos as well. How do you kind of sync these two different mediums?
So I want the videos to also stay in the feeling of how the music feels. I feel like a lot of times it feels like kind of like you're on a cloud, or a lot of people say weed music, I don't know, but like kind of I want it to stay in, and it's a little bit dark. I like to pull that element in, but it's just like a lot of the videos are just looking at, especially in this upcoming project, looking at how we are okay with, or how we've normalized toxic love and in all formats. So yeah, it's kind of just further telling the stories that the songs.
What do you mean when you say toxic love?
I think I mean possessiveness. Just like for example, on Instagram, there's like tons of, I know it's for comedy, but there's like tons of videos that like show couples being possessive of each other. Change your clothing, let me go through your phone. Cheating is normalized. It's just lots of things that's just like
right. So that this kind of toxicity, that finds its way into the music. It comes from society at large. Wow, it's pretty deep. You got a lot of deep stuff going on here for a young one. Who are some of the musicians and producers you've worked with?
So I've worked with Blunted Beats. Hopefully I'll be working with them more. That song was, actually I don't think it was on this EP, but one of my favorite songs is Fool for You, and I've worked with them on that and a few other projects. But this EP, and actually most of them, what I actually used to do is go on YouTube, find beats that I like, buy them, and that was kind of the process. But I really love making these EPs because they show me what I would do differently moving forward.
Right.
And so now I'm more interested in songwriting structures. Usually my writing is just free-formed. So I'm more interested in actually structuring my writing and sitting down and working with producers. So that's something I've started doing now.
Okay.
Yeah.
We noticed that oftentimes in your music you do have a spoken word component that you add to it as well. Is that kind of part of the song structure that you're thinking? Is it something which you're developing out of it?
That'll probably always be in it, but I more so mean like structuring in terms of chorus, pre-chorus, verse 1, verse 2. Some of my songs are just bars, 16 bars, a chorus. That's it. Like, I want to be able to, I don't know, it might make the music a little bit more of an experience if I can tie it all together. So
Absolutely.
I'm interested in where that, what will happen.
I think this is a question, and I don't want to sound like you're on a job interview or something. but where have you thought about where you see yourself like in 10 years or so? Where do you see the music being in 10 years, or on your level of development?
Have I thought about 10 years from now? I've thought about a year from now. A year from now, I'd like to at least be able to pay bills off of my music.
Right.
But if I'm being honest, I don't have a desire to be huge. I would rather not be. I just want to be able to tour, have a nice little fan base, and keep making music and not be, I don't really want to use the word contaminated, but I kind of feel like contaminated. Don't really want to be contaminated, I guess, by the industry and have to change or have to conform to having to make hits and all that. I've seen a little bit of that. They want you to churn out hits. They want you to write differently. It's very interesting. So
people already tried to change your trajectory.
Yeah. So I just kind of want to. I've seen a lot of people be able to do it, be themselves, and be successful, and that's what I want.
Now, you recently spent a couple of weeks in LA.
Yeah, it was fun.
Yeah. How was that?
It was great in terms of. I feel like a lot more studio sessions happen there. People are in the studio. I love that. A lot more collaborating happens there. I don't know why in New York I don't feel like we collaborate as much. But then I also saw the heavy influence of the industry as well, wanting you to write certain songs and churn out hits.
Well, that's pretty fascinating. Like, do you think it's an actual pressure, or are these separate individuals who are necessarily trying to pressure you? Do you see it as kind of a collective kind of pressure?
It's definitely a collective pressure. As a artist. Well, we're in a different time where you can be an independent artist and be successful.
Absolutely.
But if you want to go the label route, unless you have a huge fan base, they don't care unless you're able to churn out a certain type of hit.
Right.
And that is pressure because labels are basically banks. That's the investor. So, yeah, I saw that a lot in LA.
You saw that a lot in LA. Yeah. Wow.
Yeah,
Interesting. All right. So I know you have a couple of shows coming up. I know February 3rd you're going to be at the Mercury Lounge. Yeah. How about are each of these shows in promotion? Flexing My Demons, or they seem like maybe they have different themes.
Yeah, so the Mercury Lounge is actually in affiliation with this studio called You Too Can Woo. I actually did a co-writing session there a little while ago. And yeah, they just were getting a whole bunch of artists together that have gone to the studio, friends, and we're just going to perform. I'm actually only singing one song there, so that's just kind of like a fun night.
Okay.
Of all different types of artists.
All right, sounds good.
The next two.
The next two. So then we got February 13th, Label Noir. Is that correct? At the Earwax in Amityville, New York. I always love that name, Amityville.
Yeah. It's a little far.
Oh, no, it's not that far. You can still get there, ladies and gentlemen. You can still get there. And then we have February 15th, Friends and Lovers at Blue Swings in Brooklyn. Yeah, absolutely. So you are a very busy person.
Yeah, I guess.
All right. C3Arts Radio. We are in the studio with Hadassah. We're going to be right back. We're going to get into and finish a little bit of our Grammy talk here as well. C3Arts Radio.
No one ever told you stay away from pretty girls. They're designed to guide you. Please prepare to dry your eyes. Love is boring. End of story. Don't you dare believe the lies. And tomorrow, you'll be hollow. So just run. I hope you can run my gun, my gun, my gun. I hope you can live to see the sun. I hope you can run my gun, my gun, my gun.
And so, on to the rhythm section.
Live to see the sun. My gun, my gun. Live to see the sun. My gun, my gun. Live to see the sun. My gun, my gun. Live to see the sun. Oh, how dimmed you are. You're in love with me. Who wish this fate upon you? Oh, how dimmed you are. You're in love with me. Who wish this fate upon you? Oh, how dimmed you are. You're in love with me. Who wish this fate upon you? Oh, how doomed you are. You're in love with me. Who wish this fate upon you? I hope you can now run my gun. I hope you can live to see the sun. I hope you can now run my gun. I hope you can live to see the sun. I hope you can now run my gun. I hope you can live to see the sun. I hope you can now run my gun. I hope you can live to see the sun. Live to see the sun. My gun, my gun. Live to see the sun. My gun, my gun. Live to see the sun. My gun, my gun. Live to see the sun.
C3Arts Radio, and we are back, ladies and gentlemen. Always back. Of course, every Tuesday right here, 5 to 6 p.m. WHCR 90.3 FM. And of course, you know that you can catch us in other places as well, right? So go to WHCR.org. You can live stream us. Well, we'll be live streaming. You can join us. And also tunein.com. That's WHCR-FM. And the party doesn't stop there. You can always check us out online at C3Arts Radio. That's on Twitter and Instagram. C3Arts Radio is the Facebook. And then, of course, C3ArtsRadio.com, the most beautiful website in the world. Check us out. And we were just listening to Outrun My Gun by Hadassah, who is here with us in the studio. Now, Hadassah, we asked you which song would you like to play, and you said that one. Why?
Yeah.
Why is that one special to you? They all sound good. Why is that one special?
That one, I'm a little bit excited to make a music video for that. It's because that song to me kind of sounds like something from a movie score. So, and it's one of the more structured songs that I've written.
Okay.
So,
Okay.
I really like it.
All right, fantastic. Now, off air, we were having a little discussion, and it was something that I had picked up on in one of your prior interviews, in listening to one of your prior interviews, and you said something very interesting to me that really pricked my ears up. You were talking about that it was almost overkill to describe, for example, your work or the work of a lot of young black artists or black artists, period, as being Afrocentric or giving it some kind of label
Right.
in this term, which I thought was really very interesting. Can you expound upon your concept there?
Yeah, so I feel like when you label black art Afrocentric, it's kind of, it boxes it in.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like when you are a black artist or a black woman, by default, when I make music, it is going to be black art
Mm-hmm.
because I am black. So whatever I'm making is a product of my experience as a black woman. So I feel like when you label it that, it kind of boxes it in into being a certain type of, like, there's a kind of, I feel like rhetoric is not the right word, but there's something that you think of when you think of Afrocentric music. And I feel like that can be limiting. And you just want black artists and black people to feel like they can make anything. And, I feel like black artists, even if they're like, what is it called, cloud rappers or whatever.
SoundCloud
If they're
rappers.
SoundCloud rappers or whatever.
Yeah.
If they're black, that is a type of black art. Like all of it is. So
I see.
it just is. We're existing.
I think it's quite interesting if you think about in this area of independence and being able to establish yourself in the industry. There still seems to be this kind of labeling of the music and
Yeah.
putting people into boxes.
boxes.
Yeah. Would you say that a lot of your peers think the way you do, or in their approach, or of course people are diverse. I don't want to make my own box here, but how do you think the young artists are coming up thinking about these kinds of past tropes, we might say?
Like, I think that black artists are necessary.
Of course.
And I think we all agree on that. I do think they might agree with me. I think the point is to just not limit us, to make
Right.
us be able to allow us to be exactly who we want to be. And I do think that all the genres are blurring. So there's kind of no point in labeling. Like, all the labels are getting blurred together in terms of genres. So, yeah.
What do you think of? And we started off today. We were talking about the Grammys. What do you think the Grammys in and of itself is a kind of stage or overly corporate or how do you see how do you see?
I realize
something
that
like
I can be a
Grammys?
little bit radical sometimes.
It's okay.
So-
We have a lot of radical stuff.
I feel like as a black artist, that was like known labeling, but as a black artist, I feel like I get it. At certain points, that was definitely an aspiration. Like, who doesn't want to win a Grammy? But I do feel like it's not for us. It's not even something that we should be concerned with. We should create and kind of say,
It's an interesting question because, for example, of course, one of the big takeaways of this year's Grammys was Jay-Z getting nominated for 8 awards and not winning one.
right.
Now, I remember when Jay-Z boycotted the Grammys, perhaps in 1999. And a lot of his thinking was kind of centered around the same idea, like, why are we even concerned with this? Why do we put this much importance into this kind of award show? The people who are giving the awards, how is this going to make us or break us? But then we see Jay-Z 18 years later,
Right.
and he's in the audience, right? And he's kind of the old man
Right.
in the room at this point, the adult in the room, so to speak. And it's kind of a fascinating kind of transformation in a sense, right? Can you identify with why? And I have my own ideas, and people, probably at different kind of stages might have their own kind of ideas. But can you see that trajectory as well from, for example, Jay-Z in 1999, not even going to pick up his award, but in 2018 sitting there and not getting one award? Is there a lesson to be learned there? What do you think?
That's interesting. I've kind of been over the Grammys when Taylor Swift won over Kendrick for Album of the Year. I was like, I'm sorry. No. But I don't know. It's just, I feel like it's a result of, I feel like it's a result of that's your industry. Music is your industry. It's your job. So you're constantly surrounded by that pressure. You're constantly surrounded by that conversation. You're constantly surrounded by being in the studio with people, and that being the goal. You want to win Grammys. I mean, you want to create amazing music, but so I think that by default it does become something on your radar. So that's why you're there. But as Black artists, I don't remember where I read this, but I remember reading that like hip hop specifically is like the #1 export out of the United States. So it's just like for that to be the truth of this country, and for this country to not really care about, for us to not be winning Grammys like that the way we should be. It's just like, I don't know. I don't have time for the Grammys. I don't have time.
All right, okay.
Yeah.
Ladies and gentlemen, Hadassah, I want to thank you for joining us, Hadassah.
Thank
It's
you.
been fantastic
Thank
to
you for
have
having
you
me.
here. We're going to keep up with you and follow you and make sure, see how your career develops. I think it's going to be great things ahead for you. And now, to
you.
contact Hadassah, please go to hadassahisme.com. That is her website. You can keep up with a lot of her doings, her concerts, see some of her videos as well. She has some excellently produced videos. You can check her out on Instagram, Hadassah is me. On Twitter, it's at Hadassah is me. Now let me spell that out for you just to make sure. It's HADASSAH is me. Now, M-E. Now with Twitter, you add another E on there, right? So it's at Hadassah is me. And you can also check her out on Spotify and SoundCloud. Anything I leave out here, Hadassah, where else can we
iTunes as
catch
well.
it? iTunes as well. All right.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much. Very fantastic to meet you and have you on the
Thank
show.
you.
This is C3Arts Radio, ladies and gentlemen. We'll be back. We're always back. See you next Tuesday.
Thank you.